Hey, how you doing? David Taub here with nextlevelguitar.com. How are ya? Hope you're doing well. Hope your guitar journeys are going great. What I have for you today is I want to talk to you a little bit about some new chords that maybe you haven't been trying on the acoustic, and these chords might inspire you and get you to play them in your songs or progressions or your songwriting. And we're going to really emphasize the open strings with these chords. So they're going to be kind of pseudo bar chords, but not really. We're not going to be barring any. So if you can't play bar chords yet, this is the perfect lesson for you, because these are along the lines of bar chords, but not really. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about in a minute. The reason I really want to concentrate on the open strings is because with the acoustic guitar especially, you really want to get that, emphasize that acoustic tone and the beautiful tone from the guitar, from the woods, and what open strings will really help with the sustain with that. Like a lot of people on acoustic guitars, they play a lot down here on this part of the neck using a lot of, you know, open position chords to really get those strings ringing. There's a lot that you could do with just the chords that you know, like in the open position down here around the first, second, and third frets, right? And the reason why they sound so nice on acoustic is because the open strings will sustain longer and ring out differently than a fretted note. You know, it sounds different. For instance, like one of the chords we're going to be learning today is this chord. Okay, I'm playing almost like a B bar chord, but not really. I'm not barring it, and I'm letting the open B and high E strings ring out. You know how ringy that chord is? And gives it that extra sustain. And you can't get that with fretted notes. For instance, now I'm going to play a B bar chord where I'm going to be barring. And I'll bring the camera in a minute and give you a tight shot on this too, so you can see these up close and personal. But let's do the B bar chord. B major bar chord. Sounds nice. But listen to this new way we're going to be playing it. So you really get that sustain, and you really get those open strings ringing, and you just can't do that with fretted notes. Now, another way that you can do it, where you can kind of get that open string sound without playing bar chords, besides this, is you could use a capo. You know, this device here. And if you don't have one, I strongly suggest you go out and get one. This is a Kaiser. They're about 12 bucks. You don't need like a $40, $50 titanium monogrammed gold capo. You know, this one, just get the one with the spring, not the one with the plastic teeth because they break, or the one you tie on because that's a big pain in the butt. But this is fine. And the capo will give you a whole new palette of sounds. And we have lessons on that at our website at nextlevelguitar.com. So that's one way you're going to do it. Now, we're not going to be working with the capo today, because I'm taking this like you don't have a capo yet, and maybe you're just getting to the point where you can play bar chords. But even if you can play bar chords, and even if you've been a seasoned player, maybe you haven't experienced, or you haven't fooled around with these open string kind of pseudo bar chords. So let me take you in on a tight shot, and I'm going to show you the chords we're going to be playing. Here's a tight shot so you could see these chords that I'm going to be playing. Now, this right here is the 7th fret. That's a B note. And normally, to play a bar chord, you know, you would be playing flat with your finger across all 7 strings, and you would be forming this shape. And that's your B major bar chord. There's a couple different angles of it, right? Thing is, that finger is flat. Now, what we're going to do with these chords we're working with today is, instead of flattening out that first finger, you're going to be doing this. All I want you to do on the low E string is play the low root note. For instance, 7th fret B. When we move it to A, you'll just be playing the 5th fret. So you don't need to be barring all the strings and using all that leverage and strength. You're going to be hooking that first finger over. So make sure your wrist is not up, because if your wrist is up, then what's going to happen is the palm of your hand is going to be hitting the high E and the B strings and deadening them, and we don't want that. We want them to ring out. So the correct way to finger this chord that we're playing, this B at 11, is, instead of barring it, just hook that first finger, keep the wrist down, and then you get this beautiful chord here. Here's another angle. Look at all this distance I have here when I'm hooking this finger. See, this is what you have to worry about here, if I get my other fingers out of the way, that this part of your hand doesn't interfere with that high E and the B string, right? And that's the fingering. So it kind of looks like this A minor chord that we talked about, except down here. basically off of that 7th fret, and you hook that first finger over and play the strings one at a time to make sure they all ring out. Here's what you don't want. Uh-oh. The high E string's dead because my finger was hitting it down here. And then all we're going to be doing on this low E string root is just taking this same voicing or shape and moving it around. So if you take it from that 7th fret and move the whole thing to the 5th fret, now you're on an A add 9 chord. 7th. Now here's the 5th fret. See, I didn't have to change my fingers to any frets. They stay the same. Then you could slide that down another whole step. So that's the G. 6th chord we're going to be playing. And then a half step down. Be an F sharp 7th add 4 chord. And then you could even go another half step to the F. That's your F note here. 1st fret. And that one sounds nice too. It's all about that shape and getting that first finger hooked over. You can do it, alright? Let's go learn some progressions and some strums. So now you know the chords. So let's take that B, add 11. And remember, make sure your first finger, when it's hooking over the strings, is not muting out that high E or the B string. You know, you really have to hook that. Don't get lazy. If you bring your wrist up, what's going to happen is you're going to touch those open strings and it's going to deaden them. So you really got to keep your wrist down on these chords and really hook that first finger over. So we're going to play that B add 11 and just go back a whole step. Let's go really easy at first. To the A add 9 on the 5th fret. Beautiful sounding chords, aren't they something? And then go back another whole step to that G6. And then back another half a step or 1 fret. Remember, in music, a whole step is 2 frets, or you might have heard it called a whole tone, whereas a half step is 1 fret on the guitar. You might have heard that called a semitone. Just a little side note for you there. So after the G6, let's go back a half a step and go to F sharp 7 add 4. And don't let the names of the chords intimidate you. I'm playing the same exact fingering for each of these chords. I'm just sliding it around. So this is so easy and so much fun. It's not even moving finger position other than just going whole step, half step, just going right down the neck. And these are all rooted, these on the low E string, on that B on the 7th fret, the A on the 5th fret, the G on the 3rd fret, and the F sharp on that 2nd fret. I mean, even the F sounds nice. Not every single interval or every single half step will sound good with these chords. It depends on the other notes because sometimes they'll clash. Like if you try to play it with a G sharp, it's really dissonant, you know? Or the B flat, you know? The F sounds pretty nice. Kind of dark. Put your first finger on the F on the 1st fret. But some of them, here's a C sharp. Very, those intervals are a little too dissonant. All right, so I'm going to play this through. I'll play the progression one time through, and I'll just, give you some ideas, and you can take it from here. And then I'll go over the changes, and I'll also show you the strum pattern I'm using. And of course, you could use a myriad of strum patterns, or before I even give you the strum pattern, see if you could figure it out by ear. I won't tell it to you right away, right? You're probably sick of hearing me say this by now, but it's just so important. One of the best things you could do as a musician, guitar player, whatever instrument you play, is develop your ear. So important. You want to be able to figure out strums and rhythms just by listening to it. You want to hear what it sounds like landing on strong landing tone notes, roots and thirds or flat thirds if it's minor, and flat sevens, and you want to really hear landing on those real strong notes, those cool notes over certain chords, and you want to be able to hear the chords sounding good together, and it all comes from having that really good ear. It's so important. So try to figure this strum out by ear before I give it to you. So here's basically it. I'll play it a little slow first, and we're just going to be using again the chord like that D add 11, A add 9, G6, just 4 chords, F sharp 7 add 4. So we'll just do something like this. Listen how nice it sounds when you start putting these chords together. that's the progression. I'll do it a couple times through. One more time. It's so easy and fun, and I urge you to use these chords and practice them and throw them into your progressions and songs and have fun with them and really experiment, because this is going to open up and give you a little different palette of tones because you have these open strings ringing. Now, of course it works on electric guitar too, but I really like it on acoustic guitar because on acoustic you really want to have a lot of that open string ring, and so you could hear that those chords and notes sustaining. Okay, here's a strum pattern. I hope you tried to figure it out by ear. It's not very complex, and what we'll do is we'll break it into 3 parts. If you're playing a strum patterns and you're having trouble with them, figuring them out by ear hopefully, right? Try to break them into parts and then put them together. Here's the pattern. I'll give you the whole thing first. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, up. Down, 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 up, down, up, down. I'm on that B at 11 chord, but if I just hold the strings and no chord, it'll sound down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, up. So the way I would break that up would be like 2 downstrokes, down, 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 up, down, and then up, down, up. So you have down, down, first part, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 right? Okay, so if you just put that B at 11. Beautiful, huh? And many bands use these type chord voicings with the open strings, and you hear them, you know, that chord especially. What I hear when I hear this, I hear a Rush song, you know, because the band Rush, the trio, power trio from Canada, man, that guy, the guitar player Alex Lifeson, really uses some crazy cool chord voicings and arpeggios, and the way he arpeggiates chords, and it's very, very interesting. And the way he uses suspended chords to kind of fill up the sound, because you only have 3 people in that band, so he really wants to get that full palette of sounds, and using chords like this really ring out. So Rush uses a lot of those type chords in their music, or even a progressive band like Dream Theater. Amazing guitar player, actually an amazing band. All those guys are just such virtuosos. But John Petrucci, the guitar player, he uses a lot of interesting chords also, and a lot of chords that really add a lot of flavor and texture and color to the palette of sounds of the soundscape that they're building, you know? So try them out, and we were doing a lot of these type chords off of the low E string root, but some of them work also on the A string root. For instance, look at that E chord, where we're gonna bar, where we're not barring again, we're hooking with the first finger. Now you're gonna mute out the low E string on these chords, but let that tip of the first finger mute it out, and just finger like the power chord, like you might be just playing the power chord, just the 3 notes. For instance, if we're doing it in E, you're playing that E note, that E fifth, which is at the 7th fret on the A string, and then you're playing the B note, which is at the 9th fret of the D string, and then you're catching the octave with your pinky on the 9th fret of the G string, the E note. That's basically an E fifth, or what many would call an E power chord, right? On the acoustic guitar, that sounds, power chords are more, you know, on the electric guitar, add distortion and rock out kind of thing. But if you play those 3 notes, but let the open E, the open high E, and the open B string ring out. Beautiful, huh? It really adds so much to the chord, and you're playing the same notes. You're just playing an E, an octave up by the high E, and another B. So you're just playing, you know, E, B, know? So it's again like an E add 5, E fifth. But you get such a nice ringing sound. You do the same thing, sounds nice going to that B on the 2nd fret again, on the A string root, 2nd fret on the A string, and mute out the low E, and that's a B note. So you're, and there it is again. You know, you're adding that high E and that B string. And this technique again works on many of those root notes on the A string. Not all of them. On the C, on the 3rd fret, it sounds pretty nice. Very nice. On the C sharp, on the 4th fret, it sounds kind of cool. A little different sounding. On the D, on the 5th fret of your E. So you could be playing things like the C, D. Okay, so there's a bunch of these chord voicing, these pseudo bar chords, but not, because we're not barring anything. But it is kind of a similar position with the finger. All you would do for the bar chord is to just lay that finger flat, and then you got it. Now, obviously, that takes a lot of strength and technique, and we teach you all about that on our website at nextlevelguitar.com. But the point is that these are great chords for anyone to use, not just beginners, but also if you're at the point in your journey where you're trying to get bar chords, these kind of will kind of an in-between step to kind of help you along, and I love the sound of them. You know, because you really want to have that open string ringiness and sustain and timbre on the acoustic guitar. So I hope you enjoyed that. Keep putting those guitars in your hands every day, even if it's only for 10 or 15 minutes. Consistency is so important at this stage in the game, good people. I would not steer you wrong. And I hope you enjoyed that lesson. So keep on rocking, stay positive. You can do it! And I will see you soon. Rock on.